The opinions given by the host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling 2.0.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Calling 2.0. And it's a beautiful Wednesday, except for it's about to snow. No, it's going to storm any moment now. Now, just to let you guys know that Valentina is not going to be on. She's sick, number one, and she's got a bunch of stuff going on. And so she took a little time off and everything to get her all done. So she'll be back on before you know it. But right now, tonight, we've got a very good friend of mine on, Reeni Rodriguez. And Reeni, gosh, I've known her now for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? No, for like years. She was actually a client of Sim many years ago. And now she's been working the last quite a few years to be a doll healer. She collects haunted dolls and she helps them pass if they wish to. If they don't, then they live with her but they don't pay rent. Right, Reeni?
No, they don't pay rent.
Darn it.
They should.
But they don't eat anything, so which is good, except for one of them drinks.
I do have gin. Yes, he loves whiskey. I wish, one day I will record it, but it takes a little bit. And then I can show everybody, because I know that, my sister-in-law at that point, she thought it was amazing when I first got him. But, I mean, I don't mess around with him too much, to be honest with you. I just make him comfortable.
You just make him what?
I just make him comfortable here.
Gotcha. Oh, that just kind of spooky a little bit, you know? I don't know. But me and dolls just don't get along. I mean, I have tried. I've looked at one, and that was trying. That was enough.
Okay, first off, I sent him a picture. I have this doll, and I don't think it's haunted, but it's got a Ouija board painted on it. It's like a one-of-a-kind doll that a friend gave to me. And this lady makes these dolls, so it's always just kind of like a one-of-a-kind doll. And my son is obsessed with that thing, obsessed with it. I have to keep it in my bedroom on a top shelf, because he had bunny ears for Easter. I remember, I think I sent you that picture, Jerry. It was so funny.
No, I didn't see that with the bunny ears.
Yeah, it was the bunny ears, because I got him bunny ears one year for Easter, and he put the bunny ears on this doll, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then it was his doll at one point. So I did have to actually put it up. I mean, it's not a haunted doll. It adds to the decor I have going on.
Oh, no, thanks. So now your daughter, Morgan, is one of the psychic kids.
Mm-hmm.
And how does she relate to these dolls?
Well, if she had it her way, she probably would collect her dolls herself. But I don't think that she's technically prepared to start with dolls, to be honest with you. But I will say there's certain ones in my house that we keep that don't want to pass on. And she does really well with them. And she does enjoy, if I'm working with a doll, she enjoys sitting there. But there is sometimes when, for an example, there's certain dolls that may want to use a Ouija board, right? that's like a no-go with my children. Like, I don't say, okay, well, I'm going to do this and you're going to sit here and you're going to watch what I do. Like, that's just like a no-go. So, I mean, it's something that she's interested in, and eventually she'll probably just take over my collection. I don't want to say collection because that's a really bad thing to say, but she might just take over the spirits in my house at one point.
Your spirit family.
My spirit family, yes, because
There
they
you
are family. They are our family. The ones that don't want to move on, they are our family. It's true. They're just family members, a bunch of them.
So now, has any of them reached out to her?
Again, Charlie, who is one of, I say, is the ringleader of all the dolls that I do have. She has, before, she has seen, I did have, and I believe it's in her room now because she just couldn't leave it alone. It's a child spirit, and that one actually died in a fire. So basically that one will just show like smoke, like gray smoke in her room, and she finds that very, I don't want to say entertaining, but intriguing.
Yikes. I don't know. Okay, let me start over again. Some people have, what do they call it? I can't even remember what the phobia is of little people. When it comes to dolls, I have that. Was it agoraphobia? Anyway, I have that fear with dolls, and it's some real stuff. As a matter of fact, a doll I am putting. Let's see if it'll work here. Okay, it did work. If you look into the chat room, I actually put a picture of Reenie with Charlie. I do believe Charlie's got the blue dress, right?
Yes, no eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. She has no eyes.
She has no eyes. But she is the ringleader of the dolls here. She pretty much keeps everybody in check.
Yikes.
I don't know. We've been on the phone before, and I'm like, oh, there's somebody upstairs. And I'm like, oh, Charlie's awake. Like, she just does that.
So you can actually hear them moving around?
Her, yes. When she feels like it. But basically, she gives off a lot of orbs as well. And I know a lot of people, I don't believe in that, but I've seen it. I have a picture of it. I'll just have to find it. But I do have a picture of it.
Wow, that's crazy. Todd says maybe not take over your collection, but rather take over, assume your stewardship. There you go.
Yeah, probably.
Ish. Stephanie, ick. She's right with me on that. I just remember when we had a sim garage sale, and one of the dolls that May owns is over 100 years old, and it's sitting there, and it started to rain, and May said, hey, put the box top over that and just set it in the thing. I go, no, that's like a coffin, man. No, I don't want nothing to do with it, And now it's in her garage somewhere, and it's been sitting by itself for quite a few years. I don't know if she's gosh, I don't know. So okay, so now animals. You've got 3 dogs?
Oh yeah.
How do they act around?
And a lizard.
Oh my God, that's right. You've got, what kind of a lizard is it?
It's a bearded dragon. It's not mine, but it's my daughter's, and she's just in love with this thing. But no, I got dogs. I got 3 dogs. 3 dogs.
And how do they act around the dolls?
Well, usually my Rottweiler, for an example, he's kind of new to the household. He's usually barking at the wall or something, or looking at the wall, or usually trying to see because I have a doll case and he's very intrigued by that. And sometimes he'll bark at it and I'm like, whatever, and I always tell my dolls, or the spirits, I should say, they're like, if you want to come to me, that's fine. Show yourself to me, but leave like the animals and the kids alone. But with Morgan, that's just never going to stop because of who, what abilities she does have.
Right.
Then I have a puggle, and I think he's just so used to it that it doesn't really matter. And then we have a coonhound, and that one is just pretty much Torgen's dog. So I don't think anything is really affected by that dog, to be honest with you. I think it's just pretty much like the rot that I have right now. I think he's trying to figure out why there's so much,
energy.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, because it's going to take a little bit. That's a lot to take in. There's a lot. There's some in my bedroom. There's some downstairs. That's a lot for a dog, especially a dog that's like upstairs in my room and then a dog that's like downstairs. So you have all these things going on. So that's a lot for him to take in.
Wow. Okay. What do people think when they come over?
Okay, so here's the thing. I just don't randomly say, hey, this is my haunted doll collection. Okay. They just think that I collect old dolls. And I don't go into it. I mean, I think kind of riding a fine line there because some people do not believe in it, like at all. So they don't ask and I don't tell.
There you go. Okay. What about your landlord? I'm sure your landlord's seen him. Has he ever said anything? No?
No,
he doesn't know.
I mean, like I said, like, I think it's just kind of one of those things, like, they're just, to some people, they're just dolls. And they're probably like, okay, like, she likes dolls. I mean,
Okay.
that's a possibility. But if you were to actually go into that case and go and really kind of surf, there's some other like pictures, a board that I have in there that needs to stay in there. My pendulums are in there. There's all kinds of stuff in there, but you really got to surf in there to find some of that stuff because I do keep it on a top shelf. I mean, I do have a 6-year-old on top of it, and I don't want him in there.
Right. Wow. Okay. So when you leave though, I mean, when you leave for the day or maybe leave for a couple days and stuff, is there any kind of odd energy that seems to form when you're not there?
So this is the funniest thing, and I know and I tell everybody this that actually ask me, people that know about my dolls. I remember I was at my parents' house, and they live in Tennessee, and I was only gone, I want to say maybe 9. Okay, and I came in, and I noticed that there was like a really big shift in my house. Okay, like it didn't seem right. Like I was actually afraid. And I know that sounds weird. But then all of a sudden I was like, okay, there's like a weird energy going on in here. And mind you, I just got a new doll in the mail and I couldn't wait to get home and open it. So I was like, oh, cool. So I just kind of said, okay, well, it's probably just this doll because that's a really new energy. But then again, I seen this black shadow come down my stairs, and I'm like, it's just a black shadow. Something I've never seen like in my house before, to be honest with you. But at that point, I was actually scared all night long, and I'm pretty sure it was that doll's energy. But that was the only doll that I've ever had that threw the energy off, and I was actually scared. And there's nothing negative about that spirit whatsoever. Nothing negative.
Right.
And there was a reason I got that doll. I was pretty excited about it, to be honest with you, but that spirit threw all the energy off in my house, to be honest with you.
Steve B is asking a question. Have you ever put a Bible or a cross next to the dolls? Look for a reaction?
No,
No,
no.
not going to do it
I
whatsoever.
Okay, so again, I am a religious person. You know this, and I know that sounds kind of crazy considering what I do, but that's just how I am, and that's just how I work. So I have crucifixes all in my house. Obviously, my daughter's got Bibles. I have Bibles. Whatnot. I have religious pictures hanging downstairs by the doll case in my bedroom, and I doesn't seem like it's affecting anything. But no, I have not tried putting a Bible or holy water on these dolls by any means. I have not.
Gotcha. Now, Steve's the one that makes that spray, and
Mhm.
Morgan, she uses that spray quite a bit, right?
She does, yes, because of her dreams and like her anxiety before she goes to bed. Because I think she gets really anxious. Because the other day I was in the car with her and she's like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "No, we're in the middle of nowhere. I didn't see anything." She's like, "Can you stop so I can look?" And I'm like, "No." And she was a little anxious when we got home because I think just whatever she's seen, she didn't really want to elaborate on it at all. And I think it just kind of made her anxious. And when we got home, she was a little off.
Gotcha. Now, Morgan is her daughter, and I know Morgan, and some of the things that she has done, and things that she had seen way before her time. I mean, at that time when I first met you, she was like 9 years old, wasn't she? 8 or 9?
Maybe the most 8. We'll say
Okay.
8. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, she really blew us all away out there at your place up in northwestern Minnesota, and it was just such a crazy thing for us to walk into. I do remember your one dog, and I have the marks of your dog on my hand still.
I'm a dog lover. What can you say?
That is true. So, nothing's hurt any of the kids. Nothing's hurt you. Nothing like that whatsoever.
I'll say, like, are you talking about like dolls or anything in general?
In general.
Okay, so this has actually happened when I lived in before I moved to and this was before I met you. We were living in this house and I'm not going to go. But I do know I got pushed down my and luckily I didn't break any bones. It just kind of and then I ended up having to spend the night at like a friend's house because I was petrified, because I realized like what was going on in that house and what Morgan was seeing. She was trying to explain to us what was going on, and I don't know if we didn't believe her.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit there.
I'm sorry.
That's
said
okay.
It's when we were living in Henry, we were that's when Torgan started having all these experiences, and we didn't believe her at the time because she was what, like 4 or 5. But like I said, that house was a little weird. But then I realized it really wasn't technically anything that was going on in that house. It was what she was experiencing and what she was bringing in herself, and she didn't even realize what she was doing at that point.
Wow. And what was she scared about this at first, or have you sat down and talked to her about it when it first started happening?
Well, when a child is like 4, okay, and they're having these experiences, and it all started with like a mommy rabbit. That's the best way that she could explain it to us. And she never really wanted to sleep in her own room, so she was always in my room. And then when I did try to get her to sleep in her own room, it was like, "Can you karate chop the mommy rabbit?" Like, you will be amazed on what I karate chopped in midair. And I know that sounds weird, okay, but to make her feel better. But she was always saying that this mommy rabbit was looking for her baby rabbit. So when we had somebody come in, we had a team at that time, and there was a medium on that team as well. And they're like, she's just saying that it looked like a mommy rabbit. I mean, she's just comparing it to probably some stuffed animals that she had going on, because at that point she was into rabbits. Don't ask me. But it turns out that it was actually a woman that came to her looking for her child, which was kind of weird. And I was like, how did that? She's like, she brought that on herself. Like, it just happens. They always say that, like, and this is how it was explained to me. Like, children are like lighthouses when they are sensitive, or, you know, whatever you guys want to call them. And that light is just kind of flashing and flashing and flashing. And then it kind of draws them in. And that was the best way that it was explained to me what was going on with her. So when we did have a conversation with her, she's still, I mean, at 4 years old, I mean, we're thinking, hey, like, maybe she's got an imaginary friend. But it really didn't start coming out until we lived in Minnesota, and we experienced a lot with her there. It was a lot. It was a lot for her to take in. It was a lot for everybody to take in.
It was a lot. I remember being in your house and upstairs, and I was leaving a room, and then the door just slammed behind me. And I remember Reverend Will Cunningham was with me, and he turned around real quick, and I said, that door almost hit me really hard. And he is like, yeah, I don't like it in here.
Well,
he did not like it in your place.
We had people like running out of the house.
And
you know
that is nobody from Sim, you guys.
No, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. That just happened to be how it was, I guess, at that point. There was somebody that ran out, and I'm like, wait, like, you're running out of my house. Like, I live here. Like, don't run.
So now nobody's living in that house right now, is there?
No, nobody wants to live in that house at all.
Wow.
Nobody.
Well, I'd like to go back there again just one more time. Think you can arrange it?
Oh, I can arrange that.
Okay. Well, let's see what the team says. So, a question from Sherry. Are there any non-taxidermy animal dolls that are haunted? So, that you know of?
That I know of, I do not know of. I do know that there is groups out there that you may be able to find. You know what? I think that there's a website for that, but you'd have to search. I know I've searched a lot, and I probably came across some, and then I was like, probably not. It's not for me. But I do believe that there is a website out there for that.
Got it. Well, there's a website for just about anything out there.
I mean, if you want to find something haunted, I would not suggest going to eBay, for an example. Just stay away from that. You know,
eBay's not the best one if you're going to look for equipment and everything. Amazon, or just go right to.
Well, you can't find like haunted dolls on like Amazon. You know, there's a lot of people that actually sell haunted dolls that are actually, they can do payment plans. They can, you know, that are actually, they can prove that this doll or something is haunted. So we also have to remember that.
Right. Steve's asking, Jerry, did the meters go off? They were going off from the moment we stepped into her place till we left. It was pretty incredible. The upstairs was amazing. She was finding, as a matter of fact, if I'm correct, in the middle of the night, you would find wet footprints walking down the stairs or up the stairs?
Up and down the stairs.
And there was no water on or anything, but.
No, there wasn't. And then I would come home after nobody was there, and there was still footprints. And I know that there were some theories on that, but I'm not going to go into that, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Wow. So let's go back to Morgan. So Morgan now, how is Morgan dealing with all this? Is she still very much interested? Because now she's what, 13?
She is 13.
13 years old, and she's still into the tuning into her psychic abilities.
She is. The weird thing is I know you and I have had this discussion too. She wants to be a demonologist.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. There's the mother who's the kooky doll healer woman, and then your son. It's like, what is he gonna do? You know.
You know what? I don't know, and I don't know. The sky's the limit in this house.
Eat Cheetos.
Yeah, eat Cheetos.
This is incredible. No, your whole family is. Has your mom ever showed any kind of experience like that?
Okay, so I will say this: when I was younger, and I'm talking like younger, I was probably about younger than Morgan, and we lived in this house that the TVs would turn on, doors would slam, and I was younger at the time, and she would, I know my mom would get a little scared, but she would just kind of pass it off as like, oh, well, it could have been the dog. Okay, the dog doesn't turn on the TV, okay? Like, if we did, that dog would have been awesome, but it didn't. So it was just kind of one of those things. She was always, trying to play it off. But as I've gotten older, and where she lives now, she's like, I've seen this, this, and this, and this. And I was like, okay, well, that is what it is.
Right. Yeah. Right. So now when you were talking about eBay and everything, so you really shouldn't bid on anything from eBay that claims to be a haunted doll or a real haunted clown dolls.
Okay, let me tell you something about eBay. I can post whatever I want. I could go to a store, buy a doll, and say it's haunted. Now, when you get that doll and it's not haunted, and let's say that I charge, and I always take a gander sometimes on like eBay, because that's who I am, and I get curious because I'm wondering what these people are doing. They charge so much. Like, there was this demon doll, and I was like, she wanted what? Close to $2,000? Well, prove to me that there is a demon in that doll. Dang. Prove it. And when I sent her a message, because I wasn't going to spend $2,000 on it, she's like, well, I can't prove it. Well, if you can't prove it, why am I going to spend $2,000? And that doll is still sitting there.
Wow. See, that's the thing right there. People see an opportunity, and they where do you find haunted dolls? Is there a website?
There is. It's called Home to Spirit, and I have a doll from her. Actually, I got Charlie from her too. And she is legit. She is actually here in Illinois because that's where I'm at. And she does payment plans. So if there's she'll say like, hey, I have if you want this doll, I need you to, and you can't, let's say this doll is like, I don't know, $100, right? And you're like, oh man, I don't have $100 right this second. But she'll let you put $20 down, and then you have 2 weeks to pay this doll off. Otherwise, you lose your deposit. So Home to Spirit is a really good, in my opinion, someplace. If I was going to go buy a doll, which I usually don't, I would go through her. Alice is great. But that is a web. I think you can find her on Etsy. I don't know about Facebook, so don't quote me on that because I don't have Facebook. But she actually has a website, and it's Home to Spirit. Yeah, she's great. She is great. She communicates great. If you have any questions, she's always there, and she gives you a description of your doll and all that kind of stuff. So I really like
Gotcha.
her. General.
And it's called Home Spirit?
Home 2, it's home, and then 2, the number 2, and then spirit.
Oh, Home 2 Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
.com. Okay, there it is. I put it in twice already. No, it's not doing anything. Home to Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's nothing there. Weird. Well, anyway, we got to go on a break, so we will be back in 2 minutes. Hang on, everybody. We are back. This is Jerry of The Calling. And again, just to let you guys know that Valentina has to take off some time. She's not feeling well, and she's got some other stuff going on. So tonight we have Reeni Rodriguez, who is a doll healer. And if you just jumped into this show and you're like wondering, what the heck happened in the first half? Well, guess what? You can actually go to www.thecallingradioshow.com. Check it out right there, or YouTube, The Calling 2.0 radio show, and you can check. You can see it there also too. Why there at YouTube? Because we are filming. We're recording this, so you'll be able to see Reeni. You'll be able to see the dolls and me, and all that stuff. So, but one place you really want to go and stay is ParaX. Why? There is a plethora of different shows on there of all sorts of different topics that you should check out. Right after us, it's Exploring the Paranormal with Shauna of Geeks Paranormal. Tuesday nights, you have The Gathering with Stephanie and Heidi. That's on at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and just a ton of others. I mean, what's funny is that I sit there and I remember all the names of them, and now I can't think of them because there's that many shows, and you guys should check it out. So there. But anyway, now let's go back on. So Reeni, when it comes to these dolls, is there some people that actually send them to you?
There is. I actually have a friend who runs a paranormal help desk, which we won't get into that. So it's something different. And if somebody gets a hold of her and says, hey, I have this going on, and she's like, I know somebody that'll take it off your hands. And they usually do. Like I said, I don't have a very evil spirit in my house. I have some that are just crabby, but not evil. Like, I've had one person send me something because supposedly this spirit was asking for blood, and this person was having bad dreams. It's like, I've never experienced that with that spirit at all. So I don't know what she was talking about, but it's here. I don't have a problem with it. It's never asked me for blood, like my blood. But I would be dumb enough to do it. I'd be like, I wonder why.
Wow. I don't think I would, kind of give up any of my blood for that. No way.
Put it in a little vial, hang it around her neck.
That's just
messing.
not
I'm
right.
just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. But sometimes I do like to push my limits when it comes to working with, these spirits and stuff that don't want to move on, because they do, like, some of them do want to move on. They don't want to be stuck in something. I've had a lot of them that have wanted to move on, and I know a lot of people like, what do you do with those dolls when, that spirit decides to move on? I make sure that there's nothing left in that doll. There's no spirit left in that doll, and I donate it to the Goodwill. I'll be the first one to admit that, because I'm not going to have empty vessels. Like, there's no purpose in that. And there could be a child out there that's like, oh, I really like that doll. Can I have it, mommy? But there's nothing in there.
Right. So how many dolls have you had in your possession at one time?
At one time, I had at least 100.
And then how many have you helped pass over and have donated the the vessel. No,
Oh,
it has only the empty doll.
the probably about, I want to say about 75 of them, to be honest with you, because a lot of them, like especially children, and I know a lot of people will say, well, how does that happen? It happens, okay? And a lot of people will say, like, just because it says that it's a child, are you sure it's not a demon? No, it's a child, okay? That's just the way that it is. And usually they're the ones that really want to move on. So, and I really do not like working with children spirits. That is one thing I do not like, because I feel like they're a little bit more needier. Like you constantly have to give them attention and constantly have to give them attention. It's like having a real child, and they do want to move on and they are confused. So a lot of those dolls, after they have moved, or those spirits have moved on, I've just donated them because, like I said, there's no reason. I can't keep all those dolls. I just put them in a tub and then I don't know what I'll do with them.
Right. Wow. Now, have some people just came and like they've asked you if you wanted to take it, and then you're like, no, I don't have the time or anything, and they just drop it off to you?
I have had that happen with this guy in town, and I have had a whole box.
A box of dolls?
A whole box, like a moving box. Like I felt like this guy was about to move out and just pile them all in there. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, how did you know where I live? Well, it's a small town, so of course he's going to know where I live. So yeah, he's just left him at my door. I wasn't home. He left him there. And then a couple of days later, there was another bag. There was like a bag. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't keep taking these in. So I had to get a hold of him, and I was like, listen, I'm not dealing with this. I can find him better homes maybe, or somebody else. I do know that there was a friend of mine who was doing a project, and this is why I said do not buy dolls on eBay, because she actually, what she did was she took dolls off of eBay, did a little experiment with a bunch of different people and see what kind of activity they got, and none of them got any activity from 2 dolls in this group that they decided that they wanted these dolls, and she flipped the bill for them. So, like I said, and she wouldn't let me in on that because she just wouldn't. But
Wow.
like I said, I mean, I just don't drop them off at my house. Like, it's not going to happen. Like I have to be selective too. I have children. I have dogs.
Right. Has there ever been a doll that somebody has given you, either dropped off or actually gave to you, that other dolls are like, no, that's not going to stay here?
I do have one, to be honest with you, and I keep it because that doll, and I cannot say what she has actually told me on air because there are some really bad words. And I refuse to, I've asked her if she wanted to move on. She doesn't want to move on. And I don't think anybody else could really handle her. But like I said, Charlie, I feel like is the ringleader. And a lot of people that collect these haunted dolls will say that there's always one that like is in charge of everybody else, if that's making any sense.
Right. No, that makes sense. Wow. That's just insane. Todd says, so does Reeni visit doll museums? Has she ever been called in to help at a museum or a private collection?
I hopefully one day, fingers crossed, but I have not. That'd be so awesome, right?
That would be actually, as long as it's not dolls, it's something else. So in general, what causes the spirits to attach to dolls in the first place?
Okay, first off, and like I said, I'm not 110% sure, but they are very easily, and it's not just dolls. That's the problem. Like, I think that's where a lot of people get like confused. I have haunted jewelry. I have haunted pictures. I mean, it's not just dolls. I think sometimes, like, here's the thing, and I think sometimes people, when they go on investigations, they're just trying to put that spirit into something. And they're like, okay, I think I got this. And then when they bring it home, they don't realize the havoc that they have just put into this doll. Or maybe it was the spirit was attached to this doll, or maybe it was just the easiest thing to go into because they didn't really want to pass over either. But like I said, I have a bunch of haunted stuff. It's not just dolls. It's not.
Right. Wow. So, Todd is note to self: don't buy haunted dolls on eBay. Stick
Don't.
to just Dybbuk boxes. I don't know if he collects Dybbuk boxes.
Me? No, I do not.
No, I mean him.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted one, but I heard that some of those are not like legit, and I wouldn't even know where to go for one of those that is legit, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Are you ever afraid of opening something up?
No.
Okay, you're not. Okay.
I knew what that was gonna. I was like, nope, not at all.
Nope, not at all. Okay. So, what would make you give up all the dolls? Send them all away. What is one thing that would happen that would, cause you to give up all of the dolls?
I think if they really, really were screwing with my children, that would be something that I would definitely give up. But again, as soon as I get something new into my house, like a spirit or whatnot, I always lay down the ground rules. Like, I'm boss. Like, I live here. You don't mess with the kids, and you can mess with me all you want. I mean, I'll stay up all night with you, and we'll have a party. I don't care. But I'm not going to have you screw with my kids, and they're not going to sleep. I mean, my animals, I always say, hey, just don't mess with them,
Right.
But my kids, definitely, if they said, Mom, you're just weird. Because, like, I know, like, my daughters had friends come over and, why does your mom have all these dolls, Mom? And, Morgan's always like, oh, well, it's just because she collects really cool dolls. She finds them someplace. I mean,
Gotcha.
I know it's hard, like, basically it's like lying to somebody, but at the same time, like, you don't want to scare, like, anybody off either, like, from coming over and, like, hanging out.
Right. Wow. So right now, Reeni has 2 dolls with her. Of course, you're not going to be able to see them, but we are taping right now. So tomorrow, you can go to our YouTube channel, or you can go to my Facebook channel or the Calling Facebook channel, and you can watch the show in its entirety and Reeni can show you what her dolls are. So what is one doll that you have with you right now that you'd like to introduce to everybody?
Okay. He is actually one of my favorites. Little dollies here. One of them. This is Mark. He is actually a psychic medium, and I got him, like I said, at Home to Spirits a while ago. He's actually a psychic medium. He used to be a soldier. I do know that upon working with him. But he is a psychic medium, and kind of cute in a creepy sort of way.
It's like Major.
He's
He
cute.
really is. He looks really, really real. When she first pulled it up, I was like, but his feet don't, his hands don't. But I'm not going to say anything negative about him because I am that afraid of dolls.
He's not going to hurt you.
No. And then you smile. Why? Why do you say that? He's not going to hurt you.
Not
And then
gonna
you
hurt you.
smile.
I did that on purpose. He's not going to hurt you.
She gave that creepy look. Okay, what's the other one? Well, first off, how did you find him?
Okay, so I found him on Home to Spirits, like, I don't even know how many years ago, but I had to have him, and I feel like if you're gonna buy something, I think you should be drawn to it. And I was really drawn to this doll. Like, it was kind of one of those things, like, I was like, I have to have this doll. I don't care how much it's going to cost me. I don't care what we're going to do. I have to have this doll. Like, I seen a picture of him, and I was like, he's supposed to be mine. He is supposed to be mine.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, what's the other one?
I have a succubus.
Okay.
Yes.
And she's got bells on and everything?
Okay, so what I have, okay. So she does have bells on, and this is what I did because I was curious. But she does have, again, I have a little boy at home, so I always get kind of weird about having one of these dolls here. All right. So she has got a protection thing on here, and I've never actually taken it off, and I've really wanted to, but I have not. Again, not saying that I should, but eventually I will, to kind of see what kind of havoc she can cause in my house a little bit.
To see, wait, what?
Yeah,
See what kind of havoc she can raise in your house?
Yeah, like I said, I'm curious because like I've worked with her, obviously, but like I said, I do have children, so I do get a little worried. And this doll was given to me because this person was petrified of this doll, right? And I actually had a friend of mine who is what she wants to call a witch. She went ahead and gave me a protection bracelet before I even got this doll into my house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of knew something was gonna.
Yeah, so that's why she said keep it on. And again, I don't want to just wreak havoc. That was just a joke. To be honest with you, I'm curious if I took it off, but at this point, I don't feel that is safe with my children here, to be honest with you.
Right. So like if you brought it to somebody you really don't like their house, then took it off and let it stay there for a while.
No, I wouldn't do that either. And I know I get a lot of people that have asked me like, do you just like can't handle something and do you send it away? If I have somebody that I could send something to, but 9 times out of 10, they're just going to send it right back and be like, I worked with it. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And usually this person and we will, if he gets like a new haunted doll or something, because he's got one that he's very partial to, usually we'll bounce ideas off of each other to try to help each other out, though, too, because he is a huge collector in haunted objects, I should say, not just dolls.
Well, I know that I've been over to Heidi's place. Heidi is the co-host to Stephanie's show, The Gathering, and I've been over to her her studio, and oh my God, just taking a look at some of the dolls she has over there, and the Ouija boards that are everywhere to be found. Old ones are amazing. And I mean, we're talking ones that are 3.5 feet tall, you know?
Yeah, but you got to remember, like some people can handle that, and they can handle that much energy. Not everybody can. And I know a lot of people that collect old Ouija boards, and those are really hard to find. So I give her tons of props for like trying to hunt those down. That and how they cost so much when you do find them.
Yeah. Ugh. No, thank you.
I mean, I would do the same thing, but I just don't. I mean, I can't afford all that, you know.
Gotcha. So. Well, there's another thing too. Talking about Ouija boards, everybody. Sim will have listed on our Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota Facebook and on our website our jewelry, and we have everything from your what do they call it, planchette, earrings, and all that other stuff, all different colors and stuff like that. You guys should check it out. That's coming out real soon here, except for yours. Yours are coming right to you, Reeni. Okay, so now how does your son deal with these dolls, or does he's not shown any type of psychic or
nothing
interest?
No, nothing at all. So not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm already dealing with a child that, has gifts, and trying to deal with another one would be a whole nother project, because I feel like, each person could have different gifts, and that could just cause way too much chaos in my house.
Right. No, I agree with that. Wow. All right. Well, yeah, no, I don't think I could even come over and see all those. That's just a bit too much for me. So we're talking, you guys know now, spiders, dolls, snakes, none of that stuff. No, that's not going to be happening.
Snakes and spiders.
Sorry about that. Yeah, spider. Ugh. So what's going on with you now? You have a radio show also.
I do. Just it's a true crime radio show. That's it. It's just true crime. It's something I'm interested in.
Right, now you've been following up on a case in Minot.
In Minot, yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Have
Kathy
you
Tucker.
found anything out yet?
No, I've been in contact with one of her relatives, and he's done his best. There's a couple things that I've been hunting down. So I'm not saying that I'm harassing them by any means, because I'm not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm just waiting on a couple phone calls back. Yeah.
Gotcha. And this, can you talk a little bit about the case?
The Kathy Tucker case. Basically, she was a 15-year-old girl who, and mind you, this was like December 3rd. Okay, so in Minot, it's a small community where everybody knows everybody. They still all know each other. She decided she was going to go with her friends, hang out at the bowling alley, which now it's technically not a bowling. Well, there is a bowling alley there, but it doesn't matter.
How long ago was this that this happened?
Oh my gosh, about 45 years ago.
Okay.
And she was last seen at the laundromat, which is like if you leave the back, and trust me, I've done this walk a zillion times, and I know that bar owner is getting so mad at me because you can go out that back door, go down the alley, and where the laundromat is like kind of kitty corner, so you can kind of see it when you're in that back alley. So she walked over there, used the payphone. I found out that she did not call for a ride. She was actually on the phone with one of her friends, which is a proven fact now. I had to hunt that lead down. I'm not sure what the argument was really about because that person can't remember. It doesn't really matter. So Wally Davis, who they said killed her, which Wally did not, was last seen talking to her, because she was on the phone and he was, asking her what was wrong, whatever. And I know there was some people that said, hey, you shouldn't be talking to her because he's an older gentleman, probably in his 20s at this point. But he was already in trouble for rape, to be honest with you. So, story goes on is there was another account where she was supposedly in the back of Wally Davis's car, which that really wouldn't make any sense. Well, anyways, there was a fire out at an old farmhouse. I'm trying to get this all in really quickly. Mm-hmm. The firemen were out there. They said that there was no burning body out there at this point. Supposedly her dad didn't get this call, but waited until close to 4 o'clock in the morning. She said, oh, well, my daughter's missing. Well, I better go figure this out. So he had this epiphany that his daughter was out in this burning building. Well, she actually was, but the firemen did state that her body was not there when they put the fire out, because that's something, that smell of a burning body, you just won't forget.
Uh-huh.
But the problem with this whole situation is I don't believe that it was Wally. I have a couple hunches who I think it is, but I can't name them. I've already been in trouble for harassment for calling one of them, to be quite honest with you. I've already been in trouble for that. Now it seems like I'm in trouble for harassment a lot lately, huh? I'm joking. But anyways, they just said that it was Wally, but Wally defended himself in court, and it was a lot easier to say that it was him because he was already in trouble. And he just defended himself in court. They didn't have enough evidence against him, and he just walked out like it was nothing. So again, that's just a short version of it. I mean, there's so many other details in that case, but we would be here for another hour.
Gotcha. I do believe Todd had just put something in the thing. Yep, talking about Kathy Jean Tucker, 15 years old, Mononk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's, there's so much of that going around. I know in 1982, before that, when I was a kid living in Bemidji, after mom died, dad started going out with this woman, and she had 2 kids. One was around my age. And in 1982, one of the daughters came here to St. Paul
Mm-hmm.
and was at a bar. She was married. They were having problems. She went outside with a couple guys to have a cigarette and come back in. Nobody seen, nobody heard any kind of thing. She was just gone. And so far, there's never been a body found or anything like that. But her body had been found, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, her body was found, like I said, at that burning building. Like I said, there's like that article has, I'm sure has like a bunch of information on with that. That's great. And I love it because I've had to go through many articles myself, but then I also had to contact a lot of family members, a lot of friends. I mean, it's been a lot of work just kind of digging into that case. And
Right.
it's fascinating because everybody's got something different to say.
Right. Wow. That's incredible. Well, you've got a busy life.
Kind of.
2 kids, 3 dogs, $50,000 or $50,000.
$50,000. Yes.
Yeah, you wish you had 50. I
Yeah.
wish I had too. And then doing the true crime. That's
Mhm.
pretty awesome. You stay nice and busy. That's good. And I know for sure that you always take time with your kids.
Well, see, that's what takes up most of my time, but I figure there's just some things in life when I feel like everybody should do it. Like you should be able to take a little bit of time for yourself, no matter what that hobby may be.
Exactly. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Reeni, for coming on. I appreciate it. And everybody, wow, thank you, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. You're the best. And you all, we will see you guys next week. And good night.